Hi, I'm Alison Bushell, the Cake Doctor. Today I'm going to show you how to make carnations. They are really pretty, really easy to do. There's a little bit of technique involved with it, but basically you shove it on and leave it alone. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. Okay, we are going to use Renshaw paste again. You'll need rolling pin, you're going to need a cell stick. This is the piddliest little piece of plastic you will ever buy, but you will use it every single day. They're about £3 or £4 for each one from Sugarcraft. You can get them off Amazon as well. I'm also going to use a carnation cutter. Now these come in a pack of 3. They're about £2-3. They're not expensive. And I say you use a pack of 3. These ones are PME ones that I'm using. I'm actually going to use the middle size today. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is take a 24 wire, it's a quarter of a length, put a hook in the top, not a shepherd's crook, so a nice plain hook. We're going to take a tiny piece of flour paste and insert the wire into that. It needs to be the sort of size and shape of a tic tac. You don't want it too big, because if it's too big you won't be able to fit the cut out piece around it. So it needs to be about the size of a tic tac, fitted on to the end of your wire. Okay, so to add a second layer, all you do is cut your piece out, fill it with the cell stick as before. I'm going to put edible glue into the center of the actual cut out piece. It only needs to go to the bottom of each of the petals, don't go any higher. And then pop that on your hand, slide the centerpiece into the middle, turn the whole thing upside down, and then squish it into position with the magic part of your hand. Don't be tempted to start poking it and pulling it into shape. You don't want that. Just leave it be. So that's the second layer. Hang it upside down to dry, and then once that's dried off a little bit, you can add a third layer. So I've got one that I did before, so we're going to add a third layer to it, and again edible glue in the middle, slide it up, put that onto my hand and slide it onto the back, turn it over and just gently squish it into position. Okay, how pretty does that look? It looks like a carnation already, doesn't it? Okay, let that dry. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to paint this the flower to give it a little bit more detail. All this is just a little piece of foil over a ramekin, and I'm going to put some dusting powder in. Not too much because I don't want to waste it. There we go, that's enough. And then I'm going to use a tiny bit of alcohol. This is just gin I'm putting in here, but you could use vodka, or you could, if you've got rejuvenating fluid, use rejuvenating fluid. You don't use water because water takes too long to evaporate. The alcohol in this is will evaporate quite quickly. So you need a little drop. We're going to make a very thin paint. Very wet, very thin. A bit like when we're little and we make the have the paint blocks. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is get the excess off, and I'm not going to paint. I'm just touching the edges of the petals with the liquid paint that we've got here. Okay, and I'm not even getting too much excess paint off, because what we want it to do is naturally dribble down a little bit. Okay, and as you can see, I'm not painting, I'm just touching the edges with the brush. No paint strokes involved. I'm not very good at painting, so it's always a bonus when you don't have to do it. Okay, so there's your nice little painted effect. Okay, just to finish them off, I've got a piece of flowerpaste tape. I've cut in half lengthways, cut it on an angle. I'm going to stretch it to activate the glue, and like I did before, put it on my finger, pinch so I know it's stuck on, and then turn the wire, do not turn the tape. Okay, all done. And there we go. So the next thing we do, a little bit of green paste. Make a cone. Okay, and then with your cell stick, in the narrow end, you're going to put a little hole in. Okay, and then with a pair of scissors, you're going to cut at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then put 2 other cuts into each of the big sections. Flick them out so it looks a little bit like an octopus, and pinch each of those cut segments into a point. Alright, so just pinch them. Now carnations have got fat bottoms, so we're going to put a little bit of glue in the centre there, and then we're going to slide this onto the back of the carnation. And there you go. There's your finished carnation. How pretty is that? Hope you enjoyed it.